Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So, in this tutorial, we are going to create four different types of onboarding screens, as you can see in the video. So let's jump into the development section. So first, let's import all the dependency which we need in the app.js screen. First, import all the dependencies of Eva icon. Eva icon is basically an icon pack for React Native. It supports for different types of animation: zoom, plus, shake and flip. You can get all this import dependencies in the Eva icon npm documentation. This app provider is basically to provide all the icons in the application, and this Eva icon pack is basically an icon pack which is provided by the Eva icons. And now let's import React navigation to navigate between the screens. Delete the safe area view because we don't need it anymore, and make an empty view. All this data, icon registry and application provider is basically a part of Eva icons. You can find all this in the documentation of Eva icons. So basically, application provider is used to provide all the Eva icons in the application. As all you know, navigation container is used to navigate between the screen. But we don't have any screen right now. For this, we have to create a new folder with the name of src, which means source. In source, create a new folder with the name of navigation to put all our navigation in this folder. So in navigation, we are going to create a new folder called stack, in which we'll create all our stack navigation. In stack folder, we are going to create our first route with the name of generalroute.js, in which we'll be having all our general routes. So we have import create stack navigator from React navigation stack to create a stack navigator. Now let's make an arrow function of general routes and export defaulted. So stack.navigator is basically a container in which we'll put all our navigation screens. So stack.screen is basically a single screen in the container which have three variables: name of the screen, component, and option for the styling. So we don't have any screen yet. So let's go and create a screen for the stack.screen. So go to this src folder and create a new folder called Screens. And in Screens, create a new folder called Onboarding. And in Onboarding, we'll create a file called onboarding.js in which we'll have all our navigation stuff or onboarding screen data. Let's create a simple arrow function with the name of the screen, which is onboarding, and export defaulted. So, as I said earlier, we'll be creating 4 different types of onboarding screen. So, we don't have any yet. So let's create our first screen. Let's create and again a simple arrow function with the name of the screen, in which this is screen 1. So let's put some demo data between the return statement to show it on the simulator for the testing purpose. So now our screen 1 demo data is completed. So now let's go back to the onboarding screen and import that screen 1 to this onboarding page. Just create a view and a swiper between it, which we have installed in our first video. And in the swiper, import the screen 1. And navigation is equal to navigation is used for the navigation between the 4 different screens. And a swiper is used to swipe between the screens. Let's just give this view a style. For that, we need a style sheet, which we have already imported from the React Native. just go back on the general out screen and import that onboarding screen. Now just copy the onboarding screen name and put it into the name which we have created before. And the option, we don't need any header, so we are making the header show to false. The final movement, go back to the app.js screen and import that general route to app.js screen and put that between the navigation container. And hit save. So oops, there is an error. So let's check what is the error in the screen or an onboarding screen. So as you can see, I have put the swiper between the curly braces. So after removing the curly braces, you can see now the error is gone. You were thinking that there is no data on the onboarding screen because we need more than one screen to swipe between the screens, and for now we only have one screen. So let's just go and make the 4 other screens for the swiper to swipe between the screens. For that, just copy the screen 1 and paste it 3 times and rename the screens with 2, 3 and 4. And now let's also change the screen name or a function name of the screens. So now we have changed all the screen names or the function names. So now just let's go back to the onboarding screen and import all that remaining 3 screens to this and put all these 3 screens between the swiper. So now let's hit save and let's see the result. Oh, so oops, we have put the style sheet instead of styles in the style view. So let's change it and again hit save. Now you can see we can swipe between our 4 different screens, screen 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So our navigation between the screen is ready. We can still see the onboarding header on the top. So for that, just go to the general routes and correct the spelling of the options. So after correcting the spelling of the options, now you can see the header is gone now. So now let's go back to the screen 1 and start with the styling of that screen. So now just let's remove the safe area view which we have imported before and make it as a view. Let's import a style sheet for the styling and let's create a container style for the first view. So we don't need this text screen 1 anymore, so just delete it and import image background for the image of the boarding screen. So, to show image on the screen, we need some kind of source or image to show that screen on the onboarding screen. For that, I have already saved all of my images in the asset folder. So I just have to give the path of that image in the source. To show image on the simulator or on the onboarding screen, we also need some styling. So let's create a style for that image background. Flex 1 to get all the screen area for the background and hit save. Now you can see we have our first onboarding screen image. So let's just create our second view for the logo as you saw earlier in the design. And in that view tag, let's put an image tag for the logo to show it on the screen. So we also need some kind of source or image to show the logo on the screen. So like an image background, I have already saved my logo in the image assets. So I'm going to import my logo from this asset folder. And now let's just give some style to that image tag. As you can see, our logo is not at the correct position. So we need some margin at the top. So let's just give some style to that view. After giving the margin top 20%, now you can see our logo is at the correct position. And we need some margin at the left. So we are giving margin 20 to the left. Copy this style and just put it into the style sheet. In the design area, we also need a skip button or a text on the onboarding screen. So let's just go and create a skip text on the onboarding screen. And now just let's give some styling to the skip button. Font size 20 and the color white will be okay in our case. We need some content in the middle as you saw in the design. So let's just create that text content for the middle. We need two different types of text field for the middle content. First for the title and the other one for the description. Let's just give the styling for the title one. As you can see, our title is just below our logo. So to make it into the middle, we need to give some margin top to make it into the middle. So now our title is perfectly in the center and in the middle. So let's just create the description text and give the styling to it. So now our basic structure of our onboarding screen is ready. The one thing which is remaining is we need an icon in the front of skip button. So let's just create a component of an icon. For that, just go back to your SSE folder and create a new folder with the name of component. And in it, create a new file called icon. So first, let's just create a basic arrow function for the custom icon and export default it. So for our custom icon, we have import icon from a UI kitten components. So now just import the icon between the return statement and we'll create our own custom option for this icon. So first one will be the name of the icon and .rest mean to get all the functionality of the icons. Fill will be the color of that icon. So to make this icon a good component, let's just give some default color and styling to this. In case we forgot to give some color or styling to the icon, it will automatically use the styling or color which we have given it to the default. So now just send all these functionalities which we have created to the pros, from which we can use it into any component or on any screen. So now our icon component is created successfully. Now just go back to the screen 1 and import that icon which we have created. Now just create the tag of our custom icon just below the skip button and give it a name of the icon which we want to use, which in our case is a forward arrow. And also just give some color to it and hit save. So as you can see, our icon just appear in the front of skip button. So now just we have to copy all the screen 1 code and paste it into all the remaining screens, and just with the change of the name. Now as you can see, now we have two different onboarding screen with the same image. We'll change our image and content later on. First, we have to copy all the code into all the 4 screens. So now we have pasted all the code into the remaining 3 screens. Now just we have to do is just change the name of the image which we want to show on our pages. So starting from the second page, just change the name of the image and change the content which you want to show on the next screen. So now as you can see, after changing the image and the content on the screen, our image 2 or our screen 2 looks completely different. So now we have to do the same steps with the remaining 2 screens. So now let's just do it. all of our 4 different screens, images and content is changed successfully. Now you can see we have 4 different kinds of onboarding screens or pages for this application. Now, in the next video, we'll be working on our main page and login and the sign up button.